don't ride for nobody, no badge, no crew. Truth don't play favors, it just come through. I don't take sides, I take time and review. So to put it, let the context break through. If you clean, that stamp stay true.
We got a different one for you today, and I just want to let y'all know right now, off the rip, from the top, that this is emotional. Not just for what you're going to see, but for me. I'm going to let you know, for me, I ain't got no breaks on this one. I don't. I have zero remorse for what I'm about to say about this individual. And folks that might have a problem with what I'm about to say about said individual, I want to know how you can watch what I watch and not have the same response I'm about to have. An officer, correctional officer in Kentucky by the name of David Schwarz, was found on camera whooping the entire ass of an inmate. Now, what happened prior to is a problem. What happened during is a problem. What happened after, though, is even worse, especially what's going on now with Mr. Schwarz. And you'll find the problem here momentarily. We're going to watch the video that went viral. This event happened back in 2019. He pled guilty in 2020, October, and he served 12 months. And you might say, well, see, he did his time. Well, hold on. Hold your horses until you find out exactly what he did. And then you tell me if the time he served was sufficient. All right? We'll let the video play. And while it's playing, I will go over the details of his case for you to understand the gravity of it.
A trust in the system shattered.
He said he thought he was going to die. That is exactly what he said.
Terry Whitehead's mother has only had a few days to digest new and shocking information from her attorney. The full story of what happened to her son before this. It's a story the public also didn't know until now.
Now, again, it'll come in to light as to why this whole event is problematic today. Because you might say, that's a long time ago. No. Again, patience is a virtue. The specific officer, Mr. Schwarz, was convicted along with two other people that work with him, Miss Donna Gentry, and one other individual, Garcia, some last name. Anyway, we'll get to him in a second. The main perpetrator is Mr. Schwarz. He's the one that fired the blow that you saw on camera, and he's the one that landed the most hits. Okay. What he did afterwards was falsify records. Falsified the records about the beating. Prior to, took the handcuffed man, he was already handcuffed, to a back room with no cameras and turned off his body cam. So I want y'all to be aware of that before you watch the rest of what you're about to see. Okay.
I just literally sat in my car and cried. I couldn't even listen to her tell me that he was dangling, that he changed colors.
From that day on, I was placed under a gag order.
Meet Louisville Metro Corrections Officer Eric Delgado Rodriguez, the first one to open the door to Whitehead's cell and the first one to tell the truth about what really happened between the three officers who've now pleaded guilty in federal court: Donna Gentry, Devin Edwards, and David Schwarz.
Now, Mr. Edwards, who is the second person you saw, pled guilty for failing to intervene to prevent Schwarz from assaulting the inmate. The one that helped write the violation paperwork was Miss Gentry. Now, they were writing false reports and they were charged with obstruction of justice while assaulting an inmate while handcuffed. Now, y'all might not find no big deal with it because it was one punch. That's all that was on camera. You're going to hear what actually happened to the young man while in custody with this piece of shit right here. And trust me, when I tell you about what this piece of shit is doing today, you might even be more upset with him. Here we go.
Schwarz basically had his right hand on Whitehead's neck to the point where he was literally turning purple. It was to the point where it stood Whitehead up onto his tippy toes, and literally he could not breathe.
For more than an hour in this deposition obtained exclusively by Wave 3 News, Rodriguez tries his best to remember everything.
So I'm still going over it in my head as well, and it's just going as fast as it did then.
He tells Whitehead's attorney the inmate was moved from his cell to the West Hold, where there are no cameras. He was already in handcuffs when he was choked and struck repeatedly by the two corrections officers, Schwarz and Edwards. Blows from their knees and strikes to the inmate's head, blacking him out at times.
Now make sure you log that. I would love for y'all, when y'all watch this, to log that statement right there. Eyewitness testimony about what happened to the young man. Listen to what happened. Knees, punches to the head, knocking him out. Make sure you log all of that. And please also remember, no cameras. The man is in handcuffs, and he was in handcuffs from the time that Schwarz grabbed him out of his spot to take him here. Please remember that. If I emphasize nothing else in this video, please remember that little detail. It'll come in handy real soon.
Are you aware of anything that would have justified the use of force against Terry from what you saw?
No, ma'am.
Rodriguez told attorney Lanita Baker that he tried to stop the attack, but he himself was scared.
And you see why? This man left the room after being confronted and realizing the camera was on, fired the last salvo, pow! Almost breaking dude's jaw. He ain't a small dude. This officer ain't small. He might be short, but he built to punch, is what he looked like he was practicing for. Went out to the hallway, grabbed the door, and rage-roided it to the wall. Again, all of this will come in absolutely pivotal in a bit.
There was nothing that he could do. There was 2 against 1.
Matter of fact, according to Baker, Rodriguez didn't even have a radio to call for help. Neither did the nursing staff next door. And when he went to his sergeant, Donna Gentry, she dismissed the claims and said Whitehead had spit on the officers.
Paperwork. Lying. All right. Got to cover yourself somehow. Okay.
A charge that was later dropped.
Oh.
Rodriguez didn't stop there, coming in the next day, on his day off, to report what really happened.
Tell us.
He's a corrections officers that came forward against other corrections officers. He should be commended for what he's done.
At this point, Rodriguez had no idea Edwards had accidentally turned his body cam on, capturing that punch.
It was very shocking and unbelievable.
Jail officials acted immediately, firing the officers on the spot and turning things over to the FBI while sticking up for the rest of the officers doing the right thing.
For the most part, there are some hardworking men and women carrying out a tough job.
Whitehead's mother is still angry and wants her son to come out of prison a better man.
It's not a day that go by that I don't worry about him.
She hasn't spoken to Rodriguez yet, but sent him this message.
I just would say thank you. Thank you for standing up for what's right. I believe it's still good people, and he's one of them.
Now, y'all might think that this is just, a one-off and a problematic is done with. It's been dealt with. You ain't got to worry about it. And that this particular thing that you're seeing with, let's go back to the punch here real quick, because I want you to see his face after he landed that punch. Just watch real quick.
Angling that he changed colors.
Where's
Shocking information from her attorney.
y'all to see
What
his
he
face.
said.
Terry Whitehead's mother has only had a few days to digest new and shocking information from her attorney.
Was gonna die.
Oh, there it is. There it is, right
He
there.
thought he was.
Look at that face. Okay? That is the face of a racist. That's what that is. That man hated that young boy. And he tried his best to kill him. There is no justification whatsoever for having a man handcuffed, sitting down, you being in a spot where there are no cameras, that's intentional, turning off your body cam, that's intentional, to then proceed to beat the living daylights out of him with that sort of look on your face. That is hate. That is disgusting, vile, vitriolic, racist hate on that man's face. Now you might wonder, old story, great, old story, amazing. But it's not. Again, that's only 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that this is he's been free. This is what he's been trying to tell people now. Because he has a YouTube platform now and a TikTok platform since he got out of federal prison. And he's trying to say that this is, he's trying to make things better. He has a TikTok page called Gunny Speaks Out, a YouTube page called Gunny Speaks Out. And he is a advocate now, he says, for the black community. An advocate for the black community. Political activist. And this is a story he tells the black people to convince them that he's a good man now. Now, remember the things I told you to remember. What he said, all right? What was said, the punching, the choking, blacking out, the knees, locking off of the camera, the look on his face. Remember, all of that took place. Remember the falsification of records and the lying. Please remember, those are all part of the story before you hear his version that he tells to black people for them to accept him as a reformed man. Cool. Take it away, Mr. Schwarz.
Are you guys familiar with like my past? So
I think you was a Marine.
They heard he was a Marine. I wonder why that's the only thing they heard about you.
So I told my wife I wanted to have this conversation.
Okay.
And I wanted to talk to people. I wanted to talk to people from the black community.
Okay.
So because I wanted to get an honest assessment, and from what I can tell, people don't care.
Now, he said, from what I can tell, most people don't care. And you'll hear why most people don't care, because he frames it in a way to where people won't actually care. He's great at it. He's a great liar. He's a disgusting human being for lying like this, but he lies really well. I can give him his flowers while he's alive. He lies well. And he wants you to not worry about his past, because it's past. Don't worry about that. I'm a changed individual. See, the difference with a changed individual is that you won't care that you know the whole story. But the instant you start to tweak the story to make yourself look less disgusting, you have not changed. You're just trying to make sure that people get a palpable you, a version of you that they will actually say, but that's just one thing. This is what he does. You ready? Here we go.
Okay.
And they say people have a past, and you know what you're doing right now, you're making a difference.
Making a difference.
So I was a corrections officer like 7 years ago.
Untrue. He said he was a corrections officer 7 years ago. Let's check some time frame, shall we? We're in 2026, but it's only the beginning. So we'll count to 2025, October. So you have 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 20, 25. That look like 7? I think I need 2 more for 7. So those aren't there. So 5 years. So he's already lying, right? Trying to distance the events a lot further than when it actually took place 5 years ago. And if you really want to say, he's only been out of jail for 3 years. Okay, continue, liar.
Okay.
I got into a fight with an inmate in the prison.
He got into a fight with an inmate. He got into a fight with an inmate. He into a fight, inmate. Is that what y'all saw? Life lesson. Don't be an idiot and lie about stuff that people can easily find online. These are the people that are infiltrating the community, acting like allies, acting like friends, when all they're really trying to do is get closer to you to end you. He has no intentions of helping. He has not changed, and you'll see why in a second. Listen.
He just happened to be a black kid.
Happened to be
racially motivated or whatever. And I did a really fucking horrible thing that I've been deconstructing from my past since then. And he was in handcuffs, and I got mad and I punched him in the face. I know that was wrong, and if you guys can't support me after that, I give that 100%.
I got mad and I punched him in the face. It was horrible and I was wrong. Is that what he went to prison for? No. He went to prison for assault, whooping on, beaten. It was not just a punch. And this is how they lie to you. And they do it often. Okay, continue.
And so I didn't make it. I didn't last very long, and rightfully so. And I did 14 months in federal prison for it, and I deserved it.
Okay.
So I served
did
my
your time.
I did my
No, you
time.
did your time. Yeah.
Just like anybody, like he did or anybody
Yes.
else.
Yes.
But that's the beauty of it. You're sorry for what you did.
Listen.
Correct.
And that's what you, if he were more remorseful of some of the things he's done,
Yeah.
people may respect that, right?
Yeah, and he was a young kid too, and I honestly felt bad for him. It's hard to find.
I honestly felt bad for him as I was knocking his ass out. I felt bad for him that he couldn't fight back. I'm sure you felt bad for the kid, man. Yeah, I feel bad for the kid. After I picked him up and choked him onto the wall, I was feeling bad for him then. Then I felt real bad when I slammed him back on the chair. Then I really felt bad when my knee connected with his face. I felt bad for that. And I felt bad that he changed colors too. But I really felt bad with that punch, man, because I was really mad. But then I felt bad that I had to leave the room. So I slammed the door so many times that I felt bad. He felt bad though. At least he felt bad, man. He felt bad.
Color didn't matter when you got into it. It wouldn't have mattered if it was a black boy or white boy, right?
Because
it would have been disrespect. You put your hands on
like
me.
I said,
the
number.
They hear that? You disrespect and put your hands on me. So now they believe that the young man put his hands on Mr. Schwarz, hence echoing the result of the fight. See, what Schwarz did was he demonized the young man to make himself look good, because Mr. Schwarz is a piece of shit. Mr. Schwarz is a worthless human being. Mr. Schwarz is a blatant, unequivocal liar. Mr. Schwarz didn't serve nearly enough time. The fact that he did what he did proved that he does this on a regular, and he had probably done it before, and the same people that tried to help him to change the paperwork possibly helped him prior to on multiple occasions. The only reason that he didn't get away this time is because cameras got him.
The amount of young black men that are in that jail in Louisville, Kentucky, it's like 90%. Yeah. And again, that's a whole nother story.
Of course, it's a whole nother story. I have to paint myself now as Captain Save-A-Ho. That's me now. I'm coming to talk to you all about the incarceration rate of black men everywhere. I don't understand it, man. It's such a sad thing. Meanwhile, the one that you were with, you punched in the face repeatedly. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was just wanting to kind of know. If it wasn't the fact, the way that they're promoting it, it's not because of his color.
Nope.
You got into an altercation.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I got into an altercation. Exactly. I mean, he was fighting, I was fighting, and again, is that what happened? Is that what happened? The answer is no. He intentionally, purposefully grabbed a young man, took him, sequestered him away, and proceeded to beat him almost to death. If people had not come there and the camera was not turned on, that young black man would be dead. And it would have gone down in the books as a mistake. And Mr. Schwarz would still be a corrections officer doing it to more, since the entire population is almost 90%, right, of black people. He was probably happy he was there because he likes whooping on black people. And now he's out. He's trying to make himself look like I'm a changed man.
Have been anybody, kid,
Correct.
disrespecting. How about a what?
How about a hug? Hug me. Hug me. I beat Negroes. Come on, hug me.
And I'm getting you too.
These are the people that want fealty and loyalty from the black community after abusing and almost killing them. They'll call everybody else every other name while trying to hide the disgusting reality of their life. Schwarz was sentenced to 24 months incarceration. Gentry was scheduled to 8 months of home confinement. Schwarz and Gentry pleaded guilty on August 31st, 2019. A third officer, Devin Edwards, as you saw, previously pled guilty to assaulting the detainee and failing to intervene when Schwarz assaulted them. They violated their oaths. According to the documents in the connection to the guilty pleas, Schwarz, on April 18th, 2018, Schwarz, while on duty as a correctional officer, punched a perennial detainee in the face while he was in handcuffs, and the cuffs were behind his back. Schwarz then wrote a false and misleading report in which he intentionally omitted the fact that he used force against the inmate, and wrote a citation charging the inmate with felony third-degree assault. But he's concerned about black inmates. The same date, Gentry, who was then the sergeant, learned that Schwarz and Edwards assaulted the detainee, and he had accidentally turned his body cam on and recorded that part. Gentry wrote and filed a false report, and she included false statements and made material omissions about the excessive force used by Schwarz and Edwards. They were sentenced in 2020 for 2 years. It is not a simple cut and dry, I punched him in the face because we had an altercation. That's bullshit. Gunny Speaks Out is a unequivocated racist. He's a racist. And these are the kinds of people that get a following. This is him today. To the tune of 16,000 people that he's telling about his lies and trying to convince them that he's a good guy now and that he has so much good to say and to help the black community. And he goes around and he tells everybody about the good and how bad this particular party is and why you shouldn't trust them because they hate black people. Meanwhile, he has a vapid history of assault, endangerment, lying, and almost murder on his rap sheet.
Are you guys familiar?
This is what he wants you to forget.
Trust in the system shattered.
He wants you to forget that face. He wants you to forget that face. And wants you to think, oh, no, it's not because of that. Not because he was black, but now he's out there trying to advocate for black people. For what reason? I thought it wasn't about him being black. Just advocate for inmates. Advocate for being abusive to any inmate. No. You know for a fact that he was selected because he was black. You hate black people, Mr. Schwarz. You're a racist. You are a racist. And you're the worst kind of racist. You're not the racist that's trying to get people to think that you're not by lying to them. The same way you lied on your paperwork, the same way you lied to the man's family, you're a liar and a racist. These are the people that we should be warning everyone about. This disgusting act and the look on his face is pure evil. That face is not one of, oh, he hit me, it was a fight. This man, if that camera had not come in and people had not barged in, he would have killed that young man. And he would have possibly gotten away with it. Heaven alone knows how many other things he's gotten away with because he didn't report it. People protected him and he turned off his body cam. It happens more often, unfortunately, than we'd care to admit. And these disgusting people walk around among us now acting like the best and most holy advocates for the black community. We need you to get this word out. Share this as far and wide as you can about this individual, because the truth has to be told. And if you still support him after this, then it tells us a lot about the people that support him. It tells us a lot. They still stick with him, even after hearing the facts of the matter that he lies about. It tells me that you would prefer a lie to the truth. and that you really don't have the best interest of the people you say you have the best interest of at heart. You don't. You hate them, just like he does. We look forward to hearing your commentary on this one. And if you're familiar with him, let him know.
One wrong move turn the present into the past. I don't ride for nobody, no badge, no crew. Truth don't play favors, it just come through. I don't take sides, I take time and review. So to put it, let the context break through. If you clean, that stamp stay true. If you foul, that show up too. No miss, no spin, no cover up hype. Everything judge in plain sight.